I'm going to go really fast. I'm going to talk really fast because I'm a fast talker, so everyone has to listen to me really fast, okay? Hey, everyone. Yay. It's hard to say this, but over the past couple years, I've become a manager. Yeah, like this guy, and like this guy. And by manager, I mean guy with a smug expression who stands in front of other people who are kind of blurred out in the background, because that's what a manager is. Manager. Oh, and when I tell people, oh, I'm a CTO or I'm a manager, what I hear back is, oh, a suit, a guy who tells people what to do and doesn't do anything themselves. And I want to just kind of rid this kind of misconception about what a manager can be. One, I've had good managers in the past, and I think I'm a pretty decent one. And I'm not really a manager. I'm a developer, and one of the things I develop is people. That's what I do. And it's when I started thinking about it this way, it really changed my perspective on what my job is. Because people are a difficult set of infinitely complicated, never perfect, always different problems. And this is a really, really, I mean, I could put like 30 different adjectives in there. They're all true. And you know what? Programmers are a very specific kind of people. They're not just regular people. They're crazy people. And guess what? Out of programmers, Rubyists are a very specific kind of programmer. And what I mean by this is that I myself, as a Rubyist, and other people in this room, care about a different subset of things than a lot of other programmers care about. One, we care about testing. We care about beautiful code, which is, what the fuck is that? What the fuck is that? And we care about things that are new and shiny, and we want to build in them. And guess what? Working with those kind of people is really hard. So when I started as a programmer, I graduated college, and I think a lot of people went through the same path. I started as kind of like a junior developer. I was working at this small shop doing CSS. They actually didn't have enough desks for us, so I sat at a printer cart, which was cool. They paid me like $30,000 a year. It was awesome. I thought I was making so much money. It was cool. And then after a while, I started working with more people, and I became a lead developer. I went to a different job. We hired more people. I kind of directed how the code base went and what was going on. And then eventually, I became a manager. And to a lot of people, this progression, the end of this progression, is the Sarlacc pit. So you kind of are doing all this stuff over here, and then eventually you go into gloom and doom, and you just fall in, and you never come out, unless you're Boba Fett. So I don't believe that this is true. I'm a CTO, and to me, CTO doesn't mean just Chief Taco Officer, which is my official title. It also means creative technical outlook. And this is what I am really trying to do with my team and really try to bring to the company as a whole. One thing about being a CTO or being a manager that is a big misconception, you can still write code. I still write a lot of code, a lot of really shitty code. My job is to write things that other people fix. That's my job. So you can lead by doing, not just by saying. You can lead by doing. And as proof, here's our main monorail application, and I am still #1. Woohoo! In our contributor list. But the basic idea behind that is that I really love writing code, and I never want to stop. So the way I do it is I might not work on day-to-day features, but I work with other people on features, and I work with kind of subsets of the application, and it works pretty well. So over the past couple years, these are things that I believe in that I might not put into practice 100% because we're not all perfect, but here are things that I've learned over the past couple years. One, probably the most important one, is treat people like adults. Now, you can have your ball pit in your office, and you can ride around on a Segway and jump into your ball pit from a Segway if you want. We don't have ball pits or Segways, but that's cool. what I mean by this is really trust them. Like, adults trust other adults to do the right thing, and if you constantly are micromanaging people and not trusting them, then they're not going to trust you back. And that's pretty much how it works. Another big thing is giving and soliciting feedback. So I had the pleasure when I started working at Paperless Post of hiring the first group of engineers, and one of the people I hired was a man named Mike Bernstein, and his full-time job is trolling me. That's what he does for a living. He trolls me all day and all night, and it's really hard, and you can imagine watching him speak how hard that must be. So he gives me a lot of negative feedback, I give him negative feedback, we give each other positive feedback, and at Paperless Post we actually have a system of formal reviews that we do all the time, actually twice a year, and this gives people the feedback they need to grow, because that's really what we're talking about here. We are a group of people as programmers and as Rubyists who love talking about programming, and that's why we're here. And not only should we talk about programming, but we have to be willing to share what we're doing and share with our teammates about what is good and what is bad. And I and everyone on my team, I put it to them to always, always be willing to share knowledge. This is not a competition. I don't care who's the rock star, who's the best on the team. All I care about is that everyone is growing and everyone is doing good work. And the way to do that is to share. It's really simple. Another big thing is setting out ideals, or basically the way you think about programming. Every team is completely different. We have a very unique team that works on a very old application that constantly is growing, and we constantly are adding new things, but we've set a set of creeds, I guess we call them, to live by. And up until a couple weeks ago, these were kind of just general things that we said to each other all the time, but weren't really written down, but we finally wrote them down. And simple ones like winning is less important than helping. That's something that goes very strongly to the mentoring thing. I don't care if you win, all I care is that things get done. And this is probably the biggest one for me personally, is admitting when I'm wrong and learning from it. So I am wrong a lot, and that is how I learn. I learn by doing, and I think a lot of other people on my team learn by doing, and I really trust them to fail. And I trust them to know that when they fail, I'll be there to pat them on the back and stand over the toilet with them, whatever they need. You'd be surprised how much that happens. So, you know, being wrong is not, as long as you set up a system where being wrong isn't the worst thing, you can be wrong and then move past it really quickly, and everyone works really well together. The bottom line of all of this is that you can be a developer and you can move up in this world without sacrificing the things that you really care about. What I care about as a developer is having hard challenges. I love solving difficult problems in meaningful and important ways. And whether that's writing a Ruby or JavaScript framework, whether that's hacking together some kind of crazy graphing system, whatever it is, I like solving those problems. And the biggest thing to remember day to day, something that I didn't realize going into this, is one, your day-to-day job, whether you live in an anarchy or you live in a classic big corporation, your day-to-day job has a lot of people in it, no matter what. Even if you're working alone, even if you're consulting, your job has people in it. And people take up a lot of what you do on a day-to-day basis, and so it's really important to learn how to work with them. That's actually the biggest challenge you'll ever face as a developer. I don't care of concurrent programming, I don't care garbage collecting, whatever it is, the bottom line is people are harder than all of that. Hi, my name is Aaron. Though people call me AQ, I work at a company called Paperless Post, and I'm a manager. Thanks, everybody.